So good morning. Let us do these exercises, otherwise we will not be able to do that. As usual on Fridays, the first thing we do is to solve the previous homework. So let me read the question. Consider the following equation. All solutions of this equation, you see all solutions of this equations are among the following options. Specify all of them. Yes? I will never expect you to solve this, because we don't study this type of equations. We haven't studied them. You will study them later. But this doesn't mean that you cannot solve this problem. This problem only needs you to understand what is the meaning of a solution. What is the meaning of a solution? It's a number that when you replace x with that number, the left-hand side becomes equal to the right-hand side. So this is just case-by-case checking, and then you see that we have a square rather than radio button, yes? So it means that you might have more than one option. You have to choose all of them, specify all of them. Okay, so that's just a very simple problem, just to test your understanding about what solution is. Okay, so what should I do? I need to check. So it is better if you want to write it in the exam. So you write a left-hand side. So let me write x equals to 0. Left-hand side. What is the left-hand side for 0? 0 to power 4 minus 0 to power 3 plus 4, 0 to power 2. What is the answer? 0. And then you calculate the right-hand side. What is the right-hand side? 4 times 0. What is that one? 0. So 0 is a solution, because the left-hand side becomes 0, the right-hand side also becomes 0. I have to test this. This is a little bit boring exercise, but it is not hard. So what we do, we just choose x to be 2. So again, the left-hand side I calculate. What is the left-hand side? I have to replace every x with 2. So this becomes 2 to power 4 minus 2 to power 3 plus 4 times 2 to power 2. So this is what? 16 minus 8, this is 16, yes? So it is 24. And then I calculate the right-hand side. It is 4 times 2, which is 8. They are not equal, yes? So we don't choose that one. We go to minus 1. Be careful. If there is a negative number, you have to put it in pair of brackets. So for x equals to minus 1, what I will do, the left-hand side becomes what? Minus 1 in pair of brackets to power 2, to power 4, minus another pair of brackets, and then plus 4, another pair of brackets to power 2. So minus 1 to power even becomes what? 1. This is odd, so it becomes minus 1. But there is an extra minus sign here, it becomes plus 1. And then minus 1 to power 2 is positive 1 times 4 is 4. So the left-hand side becomes 6. But the right-hand side, let us check it. The right-hand side becomes just simply 4 times pair of brackets minus 1, which is minus 4, and that is not an option either. Okay? Let me do it for minus 2 as well. Okay? I will do this one because I know the answer. This is boring, and then the answer will be only 0 and 1, as you will see. But let me do one more for minus 3 here, if you don't mind. Okay? To see that this is not the case. But in principle, in the home, you have to do all cases. Okay, so let me just jump to minus 3. So x equals to minus 3. So what should I write? The left-hand side becomes equal to what? Again, pair of brackets. Minus 3 to power 4 minus 3 to power 3. And then plus 4 times minus 3 to power 2. I don't think these numbers need calculators in principle. Minus 3 to power 4 means minus 3 times itself 4 times. So it is which number? Minus 3 times minus 3, positive 9. Positive 9 times minus 3, minus 27. Minus 27 times minus 3 is plus 81. But again, minus 3 to power 3 is negative 27. There is also a negative sign here. It becomes that. And this becomes positive 936. Yes? So it becomes 144. And then I have to check the right-hand side as well, which is not working. You see, 4 times what? Minus 3, which is minus 12. They are not equal. So that's not possible. And then, if you are patient and do it case by case, x equals to 1 also works. Why? Because the left-hand side becomes what? 1 to power 4 minus 1 to power 3 plus 4 times 1 to power 2. 1 minus 1 plus 4, which is 4. But then you calculate the right hand side for that number. It's replace x with 1, so it becomes 4, and they are equal. So for this problem, you have to choose only these two options. And this was an easy exercise, okay? Okay, let us go to the next problem now. Okay, so some people ask me some questions. Might be I designed not in a very good way. My goal was to see, let me read it for you. Consider the following equation. If r is the root of this equation, then 3r squared plus 10 is equal to what? Some people ask me, Baba, is it a misprint or what? I could say 3x squared plus what, 10. But I am telling you that r is the root of this equation. What is the meaning of the root? Root is the number that when you solve, you get it. So for example, if I solve this equation, I don't know the answer yet, but if I solve this equation and I get x equals to 7, x equals to 7 is the solution, but 7 itself is called the root. So this is what I'm saying. So if you don't like it, you can change it with x. It doesn't matter, okay? But let us try to solve it. Okay, this is the important problem. We practice this a lot. So this is one of those exercises that you have fractions. So there is one rule for fractional equations. That is to multiply everything by LCD of all the denominators. Okay, so in your head, you can see that I have a 3 here, a 5 here, and a 15 there. So I need to find the LCD. LCD is the smallest number, which is divisible by all of them. And that is clearly, hopefully, is 15. So I multiply everything by 15. So this step, it is good to write. I multiply the left-hand side by 15. I also have to multiply the right-hand side by 15. Okay, so let me see if I'm recording it. Yes. So, and then I told you, don't write this step in the exam, but if you can, don't write the next one. Of course, if you write, you will get the points again. But I would multiply this here and there. Here, I also have to do the same thing. Multiply it here and there. But when I multiply it here, do this part in your head. When I multiply 15, imagine that 15 is here. And this 3 and 15 can be simplified, 5 is left. So do it in one go, okay? Otherwise it takes a long time. So it becomes 5x minus 1. This is understandable for everyone? I will go to the same thing here. So I have a minus sign, I put it here. Imagine that now 15 is here. 5 and 15 are simplified, 3 is left. And 3 should be multiplied here, but there is also another 2 here. So it becomes 6. Yes? Understandable? Okay, and then I go to the right hand side, I multiply 15 here, but that is simple, 15 times 2 is just 30, minus, and then imagine that 15 is here, but if 15 is here, that 15 and that 15 are gone. When I say gone, it means what is left? No, be careful. When I write 15 and then something over 15, when I simplify them, what is left? 1, yes? So it means that. This is a common mistake that people might write like this. Okay, because if you multiply, you say that, okay, 15 and 15 are cancelled. 1 is left from here, 1 is left from there. I don't write the 1, so I write this. But this is a mistake, and that's a very common mistake. Learn it once and promise yourself and me that you will not make that mistake. It's not very hard. So you have to put a pair of brackets around it, or you can just do it in your head, but don't make mistake. The one that I wrote before this was wrong. And that is a C-level question or even E-level question now, because that was the whole point. When you have an equation with fractions, it is harder for our brain to manipulate it. By multiplying by LCD, I get rid of fractions. And then I get a new equation without fractions, and hopefully it is simpler for us to solve. So I multiply it here. So what happens? 25x minus 5. Minus 6 is multiplied here and there. So the first one becomes negative, the second one becomes positive. And then here I have 30x. I multiply the minus sign in both of them. So it becomes minus x minus. And then you know the rule. You have to organize it a little bit. 6 and 25 is 31x. This becomes minus 11. And here I have 29 x's, and then I have a minus 1. Then you know the rule. I move this to the left, I move this to the right. So 31x is already there. I move this to the left, it becomes minus 29x. Minus 1 is already there. I move minus 11, it becomes plus 11. Yes? So this number is 2, and that number is 10. So what is my x? 5. Okay, in the way that I wrote it, I mean r is what? 5. Okay, and the question mark is 3r squared. So here I understand that the root is this number. So I would write it as 5 to power 2 plus 10. What is that? Is it 25 times 3 is 75? Yes, 85. That's correct. So 85 is the answer that you're supposed to put in that box. So we type 85 here. Any questions?
No.
Okay, good. We go to the next problem. Consider the following equation. This is a little bit, I would say, advanced level, but I don't think you face any problems if you have listened to me during the lessons and you remember. You usually listen, but the problem is that you forget. You have to find a way not to forget. Okay, consider the following equation. If x is the root of this equation, you see I am changing the way that I am expressing the problem here. I'm just calling it x. If x is the root of this equation, then what is 5x? Okay, again, I have to solve the problem and find x and put it there and then multiply it by y. I've already written it here on the board, so let us do it together. I'm sure that you know at least how to start. What should I do? I have an equation with fractions. There is one rule for it. LCD of all the fractions multiply. So what is the LCD between 3, 6, and 2? The smallest number, which is divisible by all of them simultaneously. 6. So I told you that. The first step, write it, okay? And then do the next step in your head. It's better. So you have to be good in algebra, because it is very important. Okay, so, and then you know that I have to multiply 6 here and there. And imagine in your head you multiply. 6 is now here. So this 3 and that 6 are cancelled. What is left? 2. 2 should be multiplied here. Do you understand what I'm saying, or I'm going too fast? Is it understandable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And then I multiply 6 here. Imagine that 6 is here. These 6 and 6 are gone. Gone means again 1 is left. So 1 times that 1 becomes itself. And then here 6 and 2 are simplified. What is left? 3, and then 3 should be multiplied there. So, yes, I will come to you. Yes?
If we don't put the bracket after 6 multiplied by x minus 2, x plus 1 divided by 2.
So here,
Yes.
it doesn't matter, because I have one term. If you want, you can put it, it is not wrong. If you not put it, it is not wrong. But here it is wrong. If I don't put this, and if you show this to, let me clean it for the mark. So if you write like this, and you show me this to me, I will think that this is only multiplied here. Okay? So here, that was not my intention, so I have to put it. Here I have to put, but that's up to you to put or not here, because that is only one expression. Okay, so for this one, I am sure that you don't have any problems, hopefully. But for this one, do you remember a common mistake again is people write x squared plus 1. Or here, people write x squared plus 9. Again and again, I am telling you, you have to just be aware of your mistakes and don't do it again. This is a common mistake, but that is a mistake. What is the correct way of doing it? You have to be patient. X minus 1 squared means x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 1. And then this one means x plus 3 multiplied by x plus 3. In Ma1c, you will have a formula for this. But the formula is again not x squared plus 9. It is x squared 6x plus 9. Okay? We will learn it next semester. But for the time being, you have to do it in that way. Of course, if you go forward and use the correct formula to do it, I will give you the points. But I haven't taught you formally. This is the way that you have to do it based on what I taught you, okay? And then I hope that you understand what to do, yes? Here I have three numbers, here I have two numbers, here I have three numbers. For three numbers, you have to be patient, okay? So you write 2, open a pair of brackets, answer this here, and then multiply 2 by the answer. So it becomes what? X squared minus x plus 1. This one is just open it up. X squared, 3x, again 3x, and then 9. Yes? And then this one, I put 3 and open a pair of brackets, multiply x squared plus x squared, x minus 2x minus 2. But here, I would prefer, if you have a different color in the exam, it's useful. It helps you not to write too much. So it is minus 2x. Here, it is plus 6x. Here, it is minus x. Okay? Now I multiply 2 in. 2 times x squared, that's it. 2 times minus 2x, minus 4x, and 2 times 1 is 2. Here, I just open it up and I don't need to be worried at all because I have a positive sign. Just open it up. So it becomes x squared plus 6x plus 9. And on the right hand side, I have to multiply 3 in. So 3x squared minus 3x minus 6. Okay? And then what happens, let me simplify that. So 2x squared plus x squared is 3x squared. Minus 4x plus 6x is 2x. 2 plus 9 is 11. And the other side is 3x squared minus 3x minus 6. And then I told you, you have to isolate your unknown on the left and the knowns on the right. So 3x squared includes my unknown. I keep them on the left, but I also need to move these two to the other side. So when I move this to the other side, it becomes negative 3x squared. When I move this to the other side, it becomes positive 3x. And now I have minus 6 here. I move 11 to the other side, it's minus 11. Okay, then I am very lucky because if this survives, that will be Ma1c problem. But I am lucky that the second degree is gone. So what is left? 5x. Let me write here. So 5x is equal to negative 17. And then, by the way, do I need to find x? In principle, yes, but I am lucky. What is wanted in the problem? 5x. So 5x is just minus 17. You can find x and then put it back here to multiply 5x. But I just ask you about 5x. This is the reason I stop here and don't continue. Because 5x is minus 17. So what I need to type here is just simply minus 17. Okay, so let us go to the next problem. The next problem was the topic of, do you remember, we had more than one variables? And I told you that this phrase is important to remember in English. If one expresses x in terms of a, it means that x is the subject. Because here, this is an equation, you have two English letters involved. One of them is x, one of them is a. But here, they are asking you to express x in terms of a. It means, as usual, x is your subject. Okay, so I have written it down here. We want to solve the problem. But you shouldn't get confused. This is a problem with fractions. So you have to multiply by something, LCD, so that you get rid of the fractions. But I didn't make it hard for you because this is more advanced than the Ma1c lesson. LCD is very clear because there is only a. So I multiply everything by a. As before, I multiply the left-hand side by a. I have to multiply the right-hand side by a. And as I told you, don't do this one. Do this in your head. Assume that a is here. Imagine a is here, a and a are gone. So what is left? X plus a.
Again, imagine that A is here. A and A are gone. Again, yes, is it a common mistake or not? Yes. If you write like this, it's a common mistake. So let me make sure that you understand. You have to put a pair of brackets. Whenever minus sign is involved, you have to be very careful. And then no one, so sorry, this is dot. No one writes a dot 3. There is a better way to write it. What is that? You just simply write 3. And then open up the pair of brackets so it becomes x plus a. Minus sign goes here and there. So the first one becomes negative, but the second one becomes positive. And then what do I have? I have 3. But x plus x is now 2x. A minus 2a is minus a is equal to 3a. But what I'm supposed to do, I am supposed to isolate x because I am supposed to express x in terms of a. So isolate x means that I keep 2x here. I move this to the other side. 3a plus a. But 3a plus a has a better name. It's just 4a. But I need to isolate x, so I have to divide by 2. When I divide this by 2, it becomes 2a. So what you need to type in the pair of in this square is just simply because I have put x equals to myself, you have to type what? Just 2a. Any questions? No. So that was also not hard. But you have to do the homeworks, okay? If you want to progress. So this question, let us read it now. Martin has 5 times as much money as Ruben. If Martin lends 1,500 crowns to Ruben, Martin will have twice as much money as Ruben. The total amount of money they have together is how many crowns? Okay, if you haven't done this before, it's a good time to think about it until I am cleaning the whiteboard, okay? Don't waste your time. Try to solve the problem now so that I can have time to clean the board. So I have written, for example, M for Martin's money, R for Ruben's money. And then I have to read the problem sometimes several times to understand it, okay? So Martin has 5 times as much money as Ruben. Just translate this now into this new language. So what will it, yes? So what should I write? Martin M is 5 times R. Yeah, so that's what we write. From the first sentence, M is 5R. Okay, this is important. If you just say M and R, I will not understand. You have to write a little bit of sentence in front of it so that I understand. You don't have to use these ones. You can use probably capital ones or any ones that you like. Okay, then I go here. If Martin lends 1,500 to Ruben, Martin will have twice as much money as Ruben. So what does it mean? When Martin lends 1,500, his money will be how much? M minus 1,500. And Ruben's money will be how much? R plus 1,500. Okay? But the problem is says that if this happens, now Martin will have twice as much money as Ruben. Yes? Yes? Okay. So now what should I do? I would write this one is equal to what? 2 times this number. Okay, so you have experience. First of all, don't leave it like this because by algebra you can simplify it. So it's simplified. The left-hand side, of course, I cannot simplify that much. Not at all, of course. I multiply 2 in, so it becomes 2r plus 3,000. Yes? And then what can I do? Here, how many unknowns I am dealing with? 2, M and R. So one equation is not enough. This is why they have given me 2 pieces of information. This is 1 piece of information. Every equality is a 1 piece of information second. So what can I do? Can I replace M with 5R? Yes, because you are telling me that M is equal to 5R. So it doesn't matter if I replace M with 5R minus 1,500 is equal to 2R plus 3,000. Then this is a very simple problem. You have just R, which is your unknown. You move them to the left. and then you move this one to the right, yes? Okay, but this is very simple now. What is this number? Just 3R. The right-hand side is 4,500. And then I have to isolate R, so R becomes 1,500 crowns. Yes? But then I need to know M as well. This is very simple because M is just 5 times R. If you have this one, you multiply 5 by 1,500, becomes 7,500 crowns. But what is the question in the problem? Let us read it again. The total amount of money they have together is how much? So it means that the question mark is R plus M. R is 1,500, M is 7,500. So the answer becomes what? 9,000 crowns. And then if you go to the problem, I have typed SEK myself, so you just need to type a number 9,000 there, and that's the answer. Yes, please.
The Martin we have twice million hundred. So twice that was the Martin who had twice million. Why did you wrote into this 22? Why did you multiply two into this?
No, because twice means two multiplied by 2, yes?
But that Martin is twice.
Yes. So it means that if Martin lends 1,500 to Ruben, Martin's money becomes this, Ruben's money becomes this, and it is telling you that Martin will have twice as much as Ruben. So the new money that Martin has is 2 times the money that Ruben has. Yes? Might be this is because of the English, but this is the way that you understand this word. Okay, I was worried about that I have done it the other way around, but this is the correct way. Any questions? Finally, we go to the last problem. I will give you a little bit of time and then I will solve it. Okay, the entrance exam of a university consists of 100 multiple choice questions. In this exam, each correct answer earns 5 points. Each wrong answer deducts 2 points. This is very common in multiple choice questions. They give you a negative penalty because they want to prevent you random guessing. Okay, each wrong answer that you choose deducts 2 points, and unanswered questions receive no points. So it means that they are motivating you. If you are doubtful about your answer, leave it blank, because if it is wrong, then you will get a negative penalty. Okay, that's the logic. Anyway, John took this exam, answered all the questions. He didn't leave anything blank, and scored 276 points. He answered how many questions correctly? Okay, so I want to wait for you again so that you can at least practice a little bit. We solve the problem, we will have a rest as usual, and then we continue the lesson after the break. So let us solve the last problem. So as I told you during the lesson, one of the guides is to read the last part of the question. He answered questions correctly. So in other words, what we are interested in is the number of questions that John answered correctly. Okay? So this is a very good guide. So this is why I say, for example, N be the number of questions that John answered correctly. Then I go back and read the problem, sometimes 2 or 3 times even, okay? Because I have to understand. So the entrance exam of university consists of 100 multiple choice questions. So remember the word 100, the number 100 here, the total number of questions. In this exam, each correct answer earns 5 points. Each right answer deducts 2 points. So this part is not important here. No, yes, it is important because he answered all the questions. He didn't leave anything blank. And then the total score is 276. So what should I do? Because N, I myself assume that N is the number of questions that John answered correctly. So how many questions John answered wrongly? Because they have told you that John didn't leave anything blank, so it means that every question is answered either wrongly or correctly. If the total, you know that the total number of questions is 100, and you yourself assumed that n is the number of questions that John answered correctly. So how many questions John answered wrongly?
And plus.
No, not plus.
Minus.
There are total number of 100 questions. N questions he answered correctly. So the number of questions he answered wrongly is 100 minus n. Do you agree? Okay. But then the total point is 276. If John answers n questions correctly, how many points he will earn? According to the problem, every correct answer gives you 5. Every wrong will give you -2. Yes, so that's it. So John has answered n questions correctly. So the points that he has earned because of that is 5n. But he answered 100 minus n wrongly, so the points will be -2 times this. Is that right? You see, +5 times the number of questions he answered correctly. This is the number of questions he answered wrongly. Because of that penalty, this will be deducted from these correct ones. Yes? And then the total point is what? What, 76? Yes? So you have to do it. So it becomes 5n minus 200 plus 2n. Because this minus sign goes here and there. Is equal to 276. This one and that one is 7n. I move this to the other side, which becomes positive 200. And this one, 476. And the only thing that you have to do is to divide this by 7. And if you do that, it becomes 68. So the number of questions he answered correctly is 68. Any questions? Okay. So let me stop this recording.